So tell me in the dark night all the words you threw away, how you cried hoping that anyone would stay. We'll reach for indoor singing more, 'cause here we go, oh yeah, oh yeah.
This is Kimidori Cosplay, and I'm here to do my 2016 year in review. I've never done this before, but it was either I do this or I write up a massive post of some kind, and that seemed like a way more daunting task, so I thought I would just talk to the camera for 10 minutes, and hopefully this will be like a sort of diary entry for myself in terms of what I accomplished this year. So I guess I should first start with the cosplays that I worked on, finished, and on occasion got to debut at some events. First and foremost, my first event of the year was Katsucon back in February. For those who haven't been, it's really nice. Aside from the fact that it's getting really popular and a little bit crowded, but if you are just kind of going to con to meet cosplayers, it's a great place to kind of gather, so yes, highly recommended. But there I got to debut my Phoenix Plate Mail cosplay from the game Aeon. That one, for those of you who followed me last year, know that that was my first massive armor project, and it was a huge pleasure debuting it there, and I had a great time wearing it, thankfully without many major mishaps, so yay! And then after that, I also got to debut my little Na outfit, which was from Fire Emblem Awakening. Shout out to my little team who wore it with me. And then following that, I also got to crash my friend's Genderbend FF8 Genderbend group, I guess, in essence. So I got to be Irvine for them. That one was not a cosplay that I made necessarily, but it was definitely one that I got to wear. I thrifted it for the most part and mishmashed a few loose items to put that costume together. So glad that worked out. Another major project in the early half of the year was Hinoka from Fire Emblem Fates. That one was a deceptively difficult outfit, mostly because of the floating armor. I think a lot of Fire Emblem fans know that pain. But it was awesome working with some new photographers and also wearing it with my friend Jinx back at SakuraCon, which is the second con that I attended this year back in April, and that was in Seattle. That's my home con, so shout outs. The other outfit that I debuted at SakuraCon was Tricolor Airlines Kagami outfit, and that one was fun and simple and easy to wear, so yay, I love all of those. And then for my in-between project that I didn't really debut to an event yet was Atlanta, which I'm wearing right now, yay, from Fate Grand Order, and I was a big fan of the Type Moon franchise from a while ago, and I still have yet to play this game, and I don't know if I ever will, but regardless, I've always loved their character designs, so it was a nice excuse to work on something from them again. That one was a massive wig challenge, as you might see here. 3 different methods went into the making of this wig. A lot of sewing in wefts, a lot of dyeing, and a lot of Copic marker coloring. So that was how this came together. That was exciting. Then came my big, on the back burner, long-term project, which was Lizette from 3DS game Stellar Glow. The game had debuted earlier in the year. I got a chance to play it. That was really, really fun. I enjoyed the simplicity and the plot twists, and not to mention I fell in love head over heels for those character designs. So I picked Goddess version Lizette I unfortunately have not debuted it at a con yet, and that's happening this upcoming February at Katsucon again, and this time with the Brick Group as well, so that's going to be really exciting for me. I'm very looking forward to that. And then the other outfit that I have finished also but not yet worn is Sakura Kyoko from Madoka Magica. That one I also have a full group for as well, so that will be nice. That one, a lot of wig challenges this year as it turns out. Sakura Kyoko's wig was a combination of two wigs that got assembled into a long ponytail. And it was a challenge keeping it on my head, so I had to do some structural things to it to help me with the wearability part of it, I guess. But glad that worked out, so whew, relieved about that. And then the last but not least, more or less, knock on wood, finished is Aerie from Bravely Default. That is the third outfit, new outfit I should say, that I'm debuting at Katsucon as well, and that is mostly done. I'm still working on those tights from hell. Not looking forward to finishing those, but I'm almost there, so yay. But those were a fun challenge just for the sake of wings. I've never done a wing project before. That one I used a combination of fabric dyeing, a lot of hand painting, and then this was also the first time I'd ever made a harness. So I can't quite say how successful that harness is until I actually wear it on the floor. But I'm crossing my fingers that it'll work out. Thankfully the wings are fairly light, so they won't be a structural nightmare. Crossing fingers. So 2016 was also a year that I tried a lot of new things beyond cosplay. But within the cosplay realm, the first thing that was new for me was video tutorials. This is only like, what, the third time that I'm speaking to you guys through camera? And this was new for me. I'm not very confident in front of a camera. And video tutorials are a bit daunting for me because there's a lot of steps that go into a lot of my projects, some of which are just like subconscious steps that I don't even realize, or steps that other people might not be aware of but are pretty crucial in the process. So it was hard listing all those steps out in a video form. And but the only downside was that the videos take a long time for me to edit. So oof. I really would like to get better at that, and I would like to be more consistent about doing video tutorials, but unfortunately I think I am going to be sticking to the photo album tutorials for the time being. Thank you so much to everybody who's been really supportive about those photo album tutorials. That was the other new thing that I've tried this year. The two large ones that I did were Hinoka's boots, thigh-high boots, and also Aerie's wings, as it turns out. So those were big successes. Those were fun to do, and it lets me, write out my notes really thoroughly and without the nervousness of, speaking in front of a camera. So yay! Would like to do a lot more of those in the future, just because it also helps me a lot. So I can look back on certain projects and be like, oh right, that's how I did it. And that's primarily why I started doing them to begin with. But if they're helpful to anybody else, that always makes me really excited. So thank you for all the really nice comments and shares. The other stuff beyond cosplay is actually also still creatively related, but artwork. I used to dabble in illustration a long time ago, back in college. I fell out of it for a while, mostly due to time, I guess, and a larger focus on cosplay and sewing. But you guys were really encouraging when I started posting some of those Pokemon Gijinkas that I did some time ago, and I still love doing them, and I would like to keep doing them. And they're like a no pressure, just for fun. Don't even really plan on selling them in any form of merchandise at this point, but I would love to try my hand at doing artist alley again sometime in the future. That's probably still way in the future though. So if anybody has any tips for me going back into the artist alley realm, that would be really appreciated. And then I'm also working on something kind of big for me personally at the moment. I don't want to talk too much about it just because it's still very much in the works. But it is not sewing or artwork related, which is very new. but I am dabbling a little bit in music composition, and I am in the process of composing a short song. Knocking on wood that it all works out, but if that actually pans out, I'll definitely post about it, but just gonna sneak that in there so that maybe if I'm watching this in the future, I can remind myself, oh right, I should really get to that. So, but that's 2016 in a nutshell for me. Sad that I was only able to attend 2 events. Next year, it's not looking like I'll attend many more either. My 2 must-goes are usually Katsucon and Sakuracon. This upcoming year, Sakuracon is unfortunately off the schedule, mostly because, hey, I'm getting married around that time, and so I need to save up those vacation days. So that's big news for me, but I'm crossing my fingers that in the latter half of the year I'll get to delve back into meeting up with cosplayers either locally or within the country. I would love to go abroad, still working on it, let's say. And I would really love for 2017 to be a year where I get to actually meet more of you. It's been a great year this year just because I've communicated so much more actively with so many people, and I really appreciate everybody who shared with me their stories recently about how they got into cosplay. I really love those stories, and it makes me sort of feel better about how I came along as well, and it warms my heart knowing that a lot of people shared the same path. So thank you for those personal stories and accounts. And thank you also for anybody who just in general comments or writes to me. It means a lot that anybody is willing to reach out to me in the first place. I feel very much like a small potato in the community, and I mostly do what I do for myself. It's an art form, it keeps me busy, it keeps me thinking about things creatively, and it's mostly for my own mental health. But being able to involve other people is a huge pleasure and a huge treat for me, really. So thanks so much for everything. It's been a great year in the cosplay realm. I'm not so sure about the rest of the world, but in terms of the cosplay stuff, I'm feeling great. So, but hey, hope I will see you guys in 2017, see more of you, and have a happy holiday. Bye! Thanks for watching the year-end review.